Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today we're working on my 05 dually Duramax. I'm selling this truck and I have a potential customer coming down from Cleveland, Ohio. So he just called and said he's gotten as far as Lexington and he wants to look at the truck tomorrow. The problem is the last guy who did a test drive experienced a check engine light that came on, much to my surprise, but it is the P0046. It has to do with the turbocharger. There are two sensors involved, and he just wants me to change the sensors, which goes against my belief of checking for grounds, powers, 5-volt reference. But I'm going to do what he says in this case because it's basically his truck other than the exchange of money. So I've switched out the large wheels back to the small. He wanted original size, so that's been done. I am jumping some hoops for this guy because he's offering more than the truck is worth. So we'll see what happens. I may follow up on that with you later. But anyway, we've got to change out two sensors. There's also a relearn procedure. I have 3 Autel scanners, and believe it or not, the oldest of the 3, the DS708, is the one that has that special procedure, so we can do that for him and hopefully get him on the road. So here we go, guys and girls. Let's see if we can get this truck fixed. Here are the sensors involved. This is the turbo vane actuator solenoid, and this is the vane position solenoid. All right, first thing we're going to do is take this bolt out and swing this battery positive post out of the way. So with that removed, this push back, it gives us a little more access. There's a cannon plug back up underneath here. We'll just connect that and bring it back. Also, because that wire's cut, now we can just use a socket. It's a 25 millimeter. I don't have a 25 deep, so 1 inch work. It's not that tight. At least it shouldn't be. New sensor. Do not put any kind of anti-seize or anything on there because this is a high heat item and I think it'll cause more problems than it's worth. So the other one came out nice. It's been in there at least 10 years. So I'm just gonna tighten this one down where it feels good and go on from there. This part came with an adapter to allow the LLY engine to accept this new part. Next sensor we're going after is this boost actuator. It's just a 2-wire cannon plug and a bolt up underneath here where you can't see it, and it does take a 12-point, in this case 5/16. Here's the setup that won today. I did have to add the universal here to get at a slight angle, and I got the fastener. Just a little bit of a pry here and come straight out. And I'm doing off camera, just spraying it with WD-40 just to lube up those O-rings, aid in the installation. Oh yeah, now I see it. It's indexed by the bracket, so once that part is on and you line up the fastener underneath, it gets everything back in line. That sensor is in the center of your screen and the bolt's underneath, and it took a bit of struggling, I ain't gonna lie. Alright, there's no leaks. One of the conditions to be met before we can do the relearn procedure is coolant temperature must be 140 degrees. So I'll bring you back when I reach that point. So on this scanner, it's the Moxidas DS708. It's under special functions, engine control, output, and then we're looking for turbocharged learn and desired TC position 88, and we're sitting at 87, 88, so it's looking pretty good. All right, we should be up temperature now, and it says to TC learn at least 5 seconds. Well, the truck has been sold. I got a good price for it. I do have the large wheels off of it to sell separately, so by the time I get what I need for those, I'll actually do pretty good for a used truck. The people that came for it out of Ohio, the woman actually been looking for a truck for 5 years, she said, and when I gave her the title, she actually cried, gave me a big hug and thanked me for taking care of the truck so she could enjoy it, hopefully. The sensors took care of the problem. The boost pressure actuator actually had to be replaced twice. I put in the original OEM sensor back in it to correct another problem. Everything was operating as it should, but it kept tripping the new sensor kept tripping the check engine light. So putting the OEM sensor back in corrected that problem. The problem is you can't get those sensors from GM anymore. It's all aftermarket. What I was told from the parts guy was if GM has a part that does not fail, they don't keep them in stock, and all the dealers, dealer-to-dealer route was out of the question. There was no more inventory, so I had to go aftermarket. Ended up being, I didn't need it. I was just changing it just because the customer wanted it, but convinced him it was not the way to go. Put the OEM back in, he's on his way. Very happy with the truck. So that's it, guys. I got an open bay to fill up. Let's find another project.